I want to move a motion that the committee report to the House that it invites the President of the Treasury Board, Anita Anand, to appear for no less than 2 hours in relation to the scam study, and that this meeting occur within 3 weeks of this motion being adopted.
Chair, I call again. We're having this stunt sprung on us. Flagrant disregard for the way that this committee runs. And Chair, frankly, I expected better of you.
Point of order.
Be in the.
This is not a motion to question the process or the committee. If you could please ask the member to get back on point.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
I will suspend for 5 minutes, then I will come back to Mr. Genuis, and then I will proceed with the speaking list. So this meeting is suspended for 5 minutes. Mr. Genuis, you first I would like to have UC to change the name of the program in the motion so it is ArriveCAN. I'm not looking for discussion on this. I would just like your consent to do that. Any objections? Seeing none, it is ArriveCAN in this motion that members are debating.
Thank you, Chair. And next time I put ArriveScam in a motion, I will add the appropriate trigger warning at the end of the motion. I guess at the beginning of the motion it would make more sense since it's a trigger
That's
warning.
not point of order. That's not necessary. We can have respectful adult conversations.
Ms. Shanahan,
Does she understand what a point of order is?
Ms. Shanahan, you're down on the list, and we will get to you. Mr. Genuis, you have the floor.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I think we might need a remedial refresher on the standing orders and which standing orders you can invoke if you disagree with something someone is saying.
Just a point of clarification, that would apply to all parties, I think, over you, Mr. Genuis.
Absolutely, Chair, absolutely. Anyways, I did want to speak to this motion, which is a motion about asking the Minister of the Treasury Board to come before this committee to answer for what happened in the ArriveScam scandal. We've heard some discussion even at today's meeting about this issue of ministerial accountability. Are ministers accountable, and to what extent are ministers accountable for what happens in their government? Now, as far as I can discern, the best defense that Liberal members can muster of the government's action in the context of the ArriveScam scandal is to try to convince us that ministers of the Crown do absolutely nothing. That over 4 ministers of procurement since this pandemic started, that the ministers of procurement were not involved in setting policies, making decisions, giving direction as it relates to procurement.
Okay,
we heard yesterday from witnesses that ministers don't have anything to do
that
with
is
procurement. Minister does not have anything.
Okay, Miss Shanahan, you are down on the third. That's Ms. Shanahan. You are down to speak. This is a very valid debate. You're allowed me to speak to it now. The deputy minister has come in today and frankly made the minister sound like he is a passenger in this voyage, not steering the ship. So that is why I think the opposition is raising this, but it is valid. And you're welcome to debate the merits of ministerial accountability in your turn, not as a point of order, which it is not. But you are third on the list. I always welcome points of order to guide me, but I ask that there be points of order. Ms. Genuis, you have the floor again.
Mr. Speaker, this Liberal member is helpfully assisting me in precisely demonstrating the point that I was making. She's saying, come on now, the minister is not actually involved in making any decisions that have relevance to the procurement process. Perhaps the title Minister of Procurement is purely decorative. Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect better, though. Canadians expect ministers to take responsibility for things that happen within their department. Of course, we understand that ministers aren't involved in every specific decision that happens within their department, but they're responsible for establishing the culture, setting the policy frameworks, giving broad direction, and certainly insisting on remedial action when things are clearly starting to go off the rails, as was obviously happening in the case of the ArriveScam scandal for a long time.
As was indicated yesterday, we found out that a an individual who is working with the public service has received a significant $8 million from the ArriveCAN scandal. And the deputy minister herself today said that she has seen in her oversight the firing of 5 employees for failing to disclose conflict of interest. Well, Mr. President of this committee, you may remember that Life Labs was granted millions of dollars for COVID testing, and that the president of the Treasury Board did not disclose this to the ethics commissioner. Now, she did disclose other things, but prior to the pandemic, you'll be interested to know, Mr. President, that Life Labs, the company on which the president of the Treasury Board's husband sits on as a director, only received $150,000 in contracts prior to the pandemic. Only 3 contracts after the pandemic, where I will remind the committee that the current president of the Treasury Board served as the Minister of Procurement during that time. Life Labs received a contract for, this is a number, Mr. President, that goes beyond the number we've been discussing here in ArriveCAN, $66.3 million on June 23rd.
Sorry, Ms. Kuzi, I have a point of order from Ms. Yip.
Thank you.
Yeah, just questioning the relevance of this.
Thank you, Ms. Yip. I think off the top, Ms. Kuzi does have wide latitude. Ms. Kuzi, back to you, please.
Yeah, thank you. It's very relevant because we are calling her
on ArriveCAN.
That's right, and
just 1 second, Ms. Kuzi.
Discussing conflicts of interest.
Yeah,
thank you very much, Mr. President.
Sorry, Ms. Kuzi. It's not my intent to cut you off, and I will let you finish up. I just wanted to. We are now actually debating the motion before us. So it's the Treasury Board President, Ms. Kuzi, you have the last words. I don't know if you wanted if you want it back again, or if I should move on.
Sure. No, I would like to continue.
Thank you.
I am providing another compelling reason that we need the president of the Treasury Board in front of this committee. Oh, it seems to me, Mr. President, that they are trying to interrupt me.
Yes, I'll hear the point of
so
Ms. Cleed. You are next.
Go ahead, please, Mr. President.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering if you wanted to excuse any witnesses that are in the room at this point, if that's okay. I know that we've gone over time, but I just wanted to make sure that they were not sitting around.
Ms. Cleed, you have the last spot.
I think perhaps the best thing that we can do is, rather than having the minister come in, it would be to bring in the officials of the TBS back to talk about how we are going to move forward on this, how we are going to hold to account and make sure that this does not happen again in the future. So I would then move that amendment to say that we remove or we change the president of the Treasury Board to say, invite back officials from TBS.
Ms. Khalid, I'm going to rule that amendment is out of order because it changes the fundamental nature of the motion. You're welcome to bring that back forward.
I'm so sorry, Chair. I would love some clarification on why you think that's out of order. I mean, we don't, like I said in my remarks, we still don't have a work plan. We have no idea where we're going with this. We keep having meeting after meeting after meeting, not just in public accounts, but in so many other committees across Parliament. And if we are trying to get to the bottom of this, to find next steps, to provide solid recommendations, then how is this out of order?
It fundamentally changes the motion. You're welcome to bring it forward. Ms. Khalid, I allow you to speak. Please return the courtesy ruling your amendment out of order. You still have the floor, and I have 2 other speakers.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Before we continue on, I would like to challenge the chair's decision.
All right.
Not even a regular member of this committee. What does Iker think about that? Love it.
So I will turn things over to the clerk. Actually, just to move things along, Ms. Khalid, could you repeat, perhaps in the meantime, your amendment is to?
Thank you very much, Chair. My amendment is to change the wording, the president of the Treasury Board, to saying to invite back TBS, to invite back officials from the Treasury Board Secretariat.
Clerk will now call a roll call on that. Over to you, please.
Shall the chair's decision be sustained? Mr. Van Bynen.
No.
Mr. Pawlowski.
No.
Ms. Khalid.
No.
Ms. Shanahan.
No.
Ms. Yip.
No.
Mr. Genuis.
Yes.
Mr. Barrett.
Yes.
Ms. Kuzi.
Yes.
Monsieur Lemire.
Oui.
Ms. Idlow.
Angit po nga, yes.
5
good.
yeas, 5 nays.
Well, I think my vote is to sustain my ruling, obviously. Ms. Khalid, you have the floor. The motion stands as presented by Mr. Genuis, with the exception we've corrected it to ArriveCAN. Ms. Khalid.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Appreciate that. And again, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have a clear pathway forward. I mean, what are we doing here? We're spending so many taxpayer dollars in finding resources in what's the objective here?
But no, here we are. We're over time. People have other things to do, but this is what Mr. Genuis decided was the ideal time to pull this stunt. And so I move the following amendment, that the text that this meeting occur within 3 weeks of this motion being adopted be deleted from the motion.
Thank you. That is certainly in order. We're now debating the amendment to remove the 3 weeks. So I'm going to confer with the chair for a second. Pardon me. I'm the chair. I'm going to confer with the clerk 1 second. Ms. Yip, do you want to speak to this amendment, or would you like to have me hold your name and I will come back to it once this amendment is addressed?
Yes, I can speak to this.
Okay.
We should. So can we put this to a vote?
Speaking to it, yes. Are you done?
Yeah.
Good.
Let's just put it to a vote.
I have to go through the speaking. Miss Khalid, your hand was up, but then it came down. Do you want to speak to this amendment, or shall we proceed to a vote to remove within 3 weeks?
I think it'll pass unanimously, Chair.
I think it might. Not hearing from Miss Khalid, clerk, call the vote on this, please.
Shall the amendment proposed by Ms. Shanahan carry? Mr. Van Bynen.
Mr. Van Bynen, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was on mute in favor.
In favor. Thank you.
Mr. Pawlowski.
For.
Ms. Khalid.
You're on mute, Miss Khalid.
Ms. Khalid.
You're on mute, Ms. Khalid. And I'll just, in the meantime, we're voting on an amendment put forward by Ms. Shanahan.
My apologies, Chair.
Yeah.
Was having a hard time finding the vote button. I vote yes.
Thank you. And if I could ask you just to put your headset on if you speak again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Shanahan.
Yes.
Ms. Yip.
Yes.
Ms. Block.
I'm seeing a nay vote from Ms. Block on the camera, which is acceptable. Ms.
Mr.
Block
Barrett?
votes nay.
Ms. Kuzi.
Against.
Monsieur Lemire.
Contre.
Ms. Idlow.
Aka po nga, against.
5 yeas, 5 nays.
Very good. Ms. Shanahan, I'm afraid your amendment is defeated.
It is a pleasure to represent the NDP, and I share the sentiments that were shared about my colleague, Blake Desjardins. I do wish him well during his time of grief. I have complete faith in our whole party and what we've heard and the advice given to us by our staff. So when I'm sharing my feedback, It is because of what I've heard, and unfortunately, what I'm hearing during this debate at committee is a lot of partisanship when we should be demanding accountability.
I'm going to go to Ms. Yip next, and then Ms. Shanahan, because Ms. Yip was on the roll call earlier. If you two would like to swap, you're welcome to do that. But Ms. Yip, you have the floor. Okay, and I'm seeing agreement from Ms. Shanahan. Ms. Yip, over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with my colleagues on my side that the minister has already been invited to government operations on the same issue. So I don't feel that there's really a need to repeat the invitation here. I just like to propose an amendment to remove the report to the House.
Again, Ms. Yip, I'm going to rule it out of order because that fundamentally changes the nature of the motion to. So I'm going to remove that out of order. You're welcome, of course, to vote against it, which is effectively what your amendment is doing.
I don't. Yeah. Sorry, I don't believe that it's out of order. I'm going to challenge that.
All right. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll call.
Shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Mr. Van Bynen?
No.
Mr. Pawlowski?
No.
Ms. Khalid?
It's a no for me.
Ms. Shanahan?
No.
Ms. Yip?
No.
Ms. Block?
Ms. Block is signaling a yes. Record her vote as a yes.
Mr. Barrett? Yes. Ms. Kuzi?
Yes.
Monsieur Lemire?
En faveur.
Ms. Idlout?
Anyaktunga, yes.
5 yeas, 5 nays.
The decision of the chair is sustained.
I just feel that I just want to, I guess I can't go back to it, but I just feel that I want to say that we are just removing something. We're not causing the motion to be out of scope. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shanahan, you have the floor.
Flagrant disregard for the way that this committee runs. And Chair, frankly, I expected better of you in this respect, to put us in this position time and time again, where we could have very easily had this discussion, whether in a subcommittee, although that's not normally a practice of this committee. Normally, these discussions, witness lists, and so on would be in the.
Yes, Ms. Idlout, do you have a point of order?
Yeah, I would like if you could ask the member to get back to what we're trying to debate. The motion that this is not a motion to question the process or the committee. If you could please ask the member to get back on point.
Well, Chair, I'm sorry that the member feels this way because
Ms. Shannon, so does the chair. So I'd ask you to stay focused on the question at hand. Before I turn things over to you, Ms. Khalid, just I've been able to secure resources to 8 p.m. I've had a few members asking me on the side. So just so everyone knows, we have resources because no other committees are sitting today. Ms. Khalid, you have the floor.
So I am more than happy to go to a vote now on this, Chair, and looking forward to whatever the will of the committee is at this time.
Thank you, Ms. Khalid. Clerk, could you please call the vote? Call the roll call.
Shall the motion of Garnet Genuis carry? Mr. Van Bynen?
Yes.
Mr. Pawlowski?
Yes.
Ms. Khalid?
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan?
Yes.
Ms. Yip?
Yes.
Ms. Block? Mr. Barrett?
Sorry, Ms. Block voted in the affirmative. Is that right? Wasn't yes? Ms. Block voted in the affirmative for everyone.
Mr. Barrett? Ms. Kuzi?
Yes, I would also advise Mr. Pawlowski to please mute himself. Thank you.
Mr. Lemire? Monsieur Lemire, je m'excuse.
En faveur.
Ms. Idler.
Anyatunga, yes.
10 yeas.
Thank you. The motion is passed to refer to the House. Does it please the committee that I adjourn? Hear, hear. Very good. Have a great rest of the recess break. Thank you, everyone.